Good morning, buenos dias. Welcome to Cafecito con HACE. I hope you are well, staying positive, and focused on what you can control. My name is Patricia Mota, and I'm currently serving as President and CEO for the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, or HACE, whose mission is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent, providing Latinx the insight, access, and development to be successful in their careers. Quick update is remember to share your story. We have our special guest sharing her story today, My Career, My Way campaign. Please go to our website to learn more information. If you're seeking some additional guidance, whether you're transitioning in your career, looking to get that next promotion or opportunity, check out our career coaching program. We're currently accepting registrations for that. And our virtual career fair, primarily focused for entry level or those just graduating, looking for internship and entry level opportunities on October 1st. We have Gigi, who you've met here, the first gen mentor, who'll be leading a workshop to help prepare those. And the next workshop is on Thursday, where grades are not enough, how to thrive as a first gen professional. And that's on September 16th. So I know I shared a lot of information. Please go to our website to get dates and details and how to register. And lastly, don't forget to reach out to HACE for your Hispanic Heritage Month plans. We have lots of great lunch and learns, a lot of great speakers. We are here to support you with professional development, but most importantly, generating Latino cultural awareness. And so let us get started. Alexandra is our special guest today. Alexandra Turcios, who's the solutions consultant at Adobe Sign, Adobe, and also chairing the Chicago Auxiliary Board for HACE. Good morning, Alexandra. How are you today?
Good morning. Buenos dias. I'm doing great. How are you?
Buenos dias. It's great to see you, and thank you for joining us. You've been involved with HACE for a number of years now, and it's been great to see your career evolve. And I'm looking forward to digging and answering some, talking about a couple of points that we want to share with our audience here today. Those of you tuning in, please share, comment, like. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your story. So please engage with us and share this conversation with your colleagues as well. Alexandra, Cafecito con HACE, how do you like your coffee, your morning beverage of choice?
You might think I'm crazy, but I like cafe negro in the morning. I like to taste.
No, I don't think you're crazy.
Okay.
I don't. Salud.
Yeah, I love my black coffee. A nice dark roast helps wake me up in the morning. And then, of course, in the afternoon, us Latinos need to have 2 cups of coffee a day at minimum. So in the afternoon, I love to have a light coffee with oat milk. I'm on that.
Nice. So it varies. So in la mañana, it's dark, right? And then later in the afternoon, you switch it up, right? I think for me, I choose it that way because I love coffee so much. Like if I kept drinking coffee con azúcar y azúcar, like that's not a good thing. Thank you for sharing. I hope you all tuning in have your cafe ready to go. And again, share this conversation. Alexandra, can you tell us about your cultural background, your career, your trajectory? One thing that's critical, as you know, with the HACE Familia is ensuring that we have folks sharing their stories, how they got to where they are. Never know who's listening and what connections and opportunities there are, right? So Alexandra, share with us.
So hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alexandra Turcios. I'm a first-generation Honduran American. My parents came to the U.S. in the 80s to give their family a better life. I'm one of 5 children, so I come from a big family. I'm an alumna from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I never knew I would land in tech. To be honest, I studied political science. I came from a liberal arts background. I wanted to be an ambassador one day or work in politics. And somehow I landed in tech. And I think through my career, my story, my way story, I was able to reflect back on how did I land here? And I came to the conclusion that it's all about your network and leaning into a community. And for me, HACE has been pivotal in that. I attended a career fair in April of 2019, where I met some great individuals. I met a recruiter at one of my past employers. We hit it off. We built a relationship. I got a referral in, and I landed in my first career in consulting in the tech space. And that opened doors for me to continue to expand my network and then eventually land here at Adobe working on electronic signature technology. So it's a little bit about me.
Well, hey, you know, our careers continuously evolve as you've learned, right? And so maybe one day you will be serving as an ambassador for a country, right? You never know. So, and those of you, right, tuning in, you talked about how we each have our own plans for our career and goals that we set in mind, but it's also critical that we're open to opportunities that come our way because you never know, you know, and you have just shared your example of how you've done that. And so I encourage everyone that's tuning in to think about that. And then the other thing that really stood out, Alexandra, you shared that you really hadn't thought about it until you shared your My Career My Way story, which means you wrote it down, you reflected on it. And then I think, you know, for all of us tuning in, if you haven't had a chance to really reflect in terms of where you've gotten to where you are today, write it down, journal it, share, because it helps really influence your future and where you continue to go, but you never know who you influence along the way. And Alexandra, in a leadership role that you do out of your own time, that you volunteer for ASE, all the work that we do, we wouldn't be able to do it without leaders such as yourself, right? And it's so important that we have individuals like you. Can you share your role specifically as leading the Chicago Asset Network, the auxiliary board, and what folks in the Chicagoland area should look out for?
Yes. First of all, I'm so humbled and grateful for the opportunity to lead the Chicago Aux Board. I've been involved with ASE on the Young Professionals Board for about 2 years now, and I held a couple of leadership opportunities that were really stepping stones into this new opportunity. So I'm really grateful and excited about the new team that we have together. We're so passionate and energetic around the mission of ASE and to build that Latino pipeline in workspaces that are traditionally not Latino. And so for the upcoming pipeline of events that you can see from us and expect, we're going to be out there. We're in growth mode. We're in a restructure mode. You're going to see a lot more of us. Definitely. We're going to be partnering in the community and looking for new partnerships and alliances to form. And we're still recruiting for leadership positions. So if you're looking to get board experience, it's a great way of getting involved in your community, to impressing your employer and increasing your promotability in your role. So you can definitely reach out to me if you're interested in gaining board experience. But more to come, more to come.
Awesome. Yeah. And you said the word stepping stone. I love that. Because ASE serves to be that pipeline, right, where folks continue to advance in their career. But the other thing that has worked for ASE is we have folks on our national board of directors that were part of our auxiliary boards at one point, whether it was a young professional, whether it was like a Mujeres de ASE initiative. And that is our intent. And if it's not with ASE, we want to make sure that we're getting folks connected to those types of board opportunities that lead to greater, bigger things, right? And so, Alexandra, you're a perfect example. And I'm so grateful for you to share your story for those tuning in. And those of you tuning in, please feel free to have your questions, any comments or thoughts that you have. As Alexandra mentioned, we want to hear from you. We want you to get involved. And so please feel free to reach out to her as well to get involved in the Chicago market. Alexandra, anything else you'll share in terms of those that are just getting started in their careers, especially since we have a couple entry-level internship opportunities with our virtual career fair and with workshops coming up? What would you say were some tips that helped you or that you learned when you were first getting started?
I think to your point earlier, being open to opportunities, I think when we're in college and getting ready to launch our career, we have this an idea of where we want to be as our first job. And we idealize that. And you close yourself off to opportunities. You keep such a strict idea of what and where you're supposed to be at. And then I would say comparison is the thief of joy. So don't compare yourself to your peers. You're on your own path. You have your own unique strengths. So tap into that. And it involves a lot of introspection to take a step back and say, what am I good at? What actually energizes me? What drains me? And then pivot and adjust from there. You're not going to be like your peer next door. And so it's important to lean into your differences and embrace what you bring to the table. And it takes a little work. It takes some honest conversation with yourself, but trust your gut, trust your intuition, and you know what the right opportunity feels like when you're talking to a recruiter. So definitely trust that intuition that you feel.
Great tips in terms of having your plan, being open to when things evolve. I think especially after the last 18 months or so, as a world, we've learned that how critical it is to get comfortable with change, with a different path, with a new structure, right? And so that's a critical, I think, life skill, right, for all of us to have. And being and trusting your gut, I think, is another great one, right? There's so many times where maybe we see ourselves in an organization, maybe there's a culture fit, there's a relationship that we've built with, you know, recruiter and their peers, and so those things are critical. And I think more than ever, one thing, Alexandra, I'm always talking with our corporate partners across the country, is that it's imperative that not just workplaces in general, but let's say corporate America evolve as quickly as needed to keep up with what this new generation of talent is expecting, right? I'll say we, because I also, that in my mission in terms of purpose-driven organizations, where individuals feel that they're a part of that, right? And so those tuning in, if you have any questions or comments, please add on. Anything else, Alexandra, you want to make sure folks get to know or hear about regarding your background or things on the horizon?
Well, I just want to stress the point that, we're hearing the term great resignation over and over again, and the great reshuffling. And it's an opportunity to reinvent yourself. I know the pandemic has thrown a lot of curveballs and unexpected twists and turns in people's personal life, as well as their professional life, and the two are bleeding together. And so I hope everyone's taking care of themselves. They're able to have a better work-life integration. And if an opportunity is not serving you, do that deep thinking work to re-envision and reinvent yourself during this time. I'm having a lot of conversations with my peers and even family members where they're like, I thought I loved this career, and this pandemic just made me realize that this isn't for me. And I want to set certain boundaries, and I want a different life for myself. And I think it's the perfect time to do so. So I just encourage everyone in the audience to think back and introspect during this time.
Reflecting. I think we've talked a lot about that, and really I think I'm always talking about journaling. I love journaling. I think at least once a year. Do you have your journal?
I have my journal
You
here.
need to go get it. Oh, nice. It's nice and colorful. I love that.
That was really cool because it's all about getting to know yourself better. And so there's a different prompt per page to just ask you, like, for example, what fears are you
Which
holding?
one's that one?
It's called The Inner Me, a journal to connect with yourself and discover what brings you true happiness. So perfect segue into pulling this up. But it helps you just reflect back on your values and who you are as a person. And I think I've journaled 5 pages in here so far.
That's awesome. I was telling one of my coworkers, Vanessa, like I was at Target a couple months ago, and they're like one of their sections where they have the agendas and the book. They have all these books where we have guiding questions, right? And before I would journal and just, reflect myself, but how much, like, it's pretty amazing that there's now guided journaling, guided journals that can help you think through, for those of us that may take a little time it's tough for us to ask ourselves those questions, right? And we have another Nina, thank you. She says she journals every single day. Wow, that's amazing. I wish I could do it every single day. That takes a lot, and I'm sure that is helping you a ton. I was just saying right before you shared your journal with us, Alexandra, that at least once a year I like to carve out a couple days of time to reflect on the past year and journal on that. But most importantly, like, think about the year ahead. And one of the things that you said was there's been a shift in values, right? With everything that we've experienced. And I think that's one of the critical pieces that helps us during the tough times. When we're aligned with our values, that strengthens our foundation. And so when challenges come our way, as challenging as they may be, it makes it not necessarily easy, but a little bit easier to get through those tough times. So Alexandra, before we wrap up here, what are you most hopeful for the rest of this year? We're already in September, a couple of months left in 2021. We've got Hispanic Heritage Month on the horizon. We've got a lot, that's coming up in the next couple of months. What would you say you're most hopeful for?
I think despite so much turmoil happening in the world right now, that there's a lot of optimism. I'm feeling a lot of positivity from those around me who, they're taking control of their destiny and their life. They're making the necessary changes that no longer serve them. And we're experiencing a catalyst of change. Like you mentioned, Patricia, now they're forced to face these problems that are in the workplace, whether it's around diversity and inclusion, or it's around, retaining talent and modernizing the way that they operate with technology. There's a lot to look forward to, a lot of technology on the horizon that I can't wait to see what the future and the next generation does with this. So there's a lot for me to be hopeful about, and I hope everyone else feels the same way.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Alexandra. Lots to look forward to. We thank you so much for your time. We thank you for being part of the HACE familia. Those of you tuning, please share and continue to comment, because the videos stay up on our channels. And to everyone, hasta la próxima. Until next time, thank you. Bye, Alexandra.